For the past month, I've started my day by eating the frog, and in this video, I want to show you guys why it's been the best strategy to help me get the most consistent grades I've ever gotten, and also achieve a lot of the goals and do a lot of the projects that have been plaguing me for a long time. So let's get started. So I first started learning about this idea of eating the frog about a month, 2 months, 3 months ago, I think. And this is a point where I was really struggling to get the big amount of work done that I needed to this semester. So, for context, I'm a senior in college, and one of the things I'm doing this semester is an honors thesis, which, if you don't know what that means, basically, I've been in a research lab for about 3, 4 years, and in that lab, I am doing a project that's basically spans the course of an entire school year. And that project requires a lot of consistent effort over time rather than one block of studying or one block of just like writing a paper or something. So for me, these assignments have always been difficult because I just struggle sometimes to do long-term assignments if I don't have like strict deadlines like every single week. And what I realized is that with these long-term assignments, especially like this honors thesis, I can often get swept up in the daily activities that are less important, but still like somewhat important. So I'm talking like doing this homework assignment that's due for a class tomorrow, or um, like studying for this one exam that's coming up next week, but then realizing that I still need to make some type of progress on my honors thesis. And in the end, everything was just getting pushed back, is getting delayed, and I spent my first semester, so last semester, not really getting much done. In all honesty, like I got some stuff done because I had some deadlines that were associated with the paper, but I was still so far behind, and I realized that I needed a different way to work. And so I remember I would have my task list and it'd be filled with like 10 or 15 different tasks, right? And those tasks would range from really important to less important. So let's say on my task list I had work on my research project, work on writing my thesis, study for this exam, um, do this homework assignment, and then I don't know, call this person for some advice, something like that. It's just off the top of my head, that's what I'm thinking about. And so obviously there's different priorities to those, right? And when you have a task that's 15 items long, ideally you would want to get your most important task done at the beginning of the day and then get your least important task done at the end of the day. But what I was finding was that I was chasing the high of really doing my tasks as quick as possible and getting the most amount of tasks done. So the task app I use is called Todoist, and it has this thing in the top left corner where you're able to see how many tasks you got done for a day and for a week. And so I'd be chasing that idea of getting like, oh, I got 7 tasks done today, so I was productive today. And that was helpful. I think it got some of my work done. Like I'd still, spend time doing important things like studying for exams, but I realized that despite the feeling of productiveness or productivity, I was still not getting what I wanted to actually done. And for me, that's the honors thesis because I've been in this lab for so long and I realized that I just needed to get that stuff done, right? Okay, so by the end of each day, I would be frustrated and I'd be doing that thing where in my task board, I would just really like push the event back to the next day. And I would never feel like I got anything productive done, even though I was somewhat productive, but I wasn't. So I feel this guilt for not getting stuff on my honors thesis done. And that's what sort of spurred me to go look into other techniques to start getting my work done. And so one technique I learned was called eating the frog. And it doesn't actually literally mean eating a frog, but it means doing your most important task throughout the day and having that be the first task you do. And really sometimes the only task you do throughout the day. So what do I mean by this? So I would wake up and I would get ready for the day. I do my morning routine, like I've said before, and just get myself in the right headspace to start sitting down and doing work. And what I realized was that when I started my day looking into doing the most important task and nothing else, I would get so much more done, both in the tasks that I wanted to get done in the first place, and then also in those other tasks because I get that momentum from realizing, like, hey, my day is accomplished because I completed this most important task. So, what does that mean? So, instead of waking up and then getting a little distracted and then doing like 2 or 3 mini tasks that are important but not super important, I would wake up and every morning for the past month, I've been sitting down at my computer and just either working on my research project or writing my thesis. Since that's been the most important project for me for about the past, I don't know, uh, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, something like that. And so I would sit down and do that thesis and keep working on it every day, even if it was just for an hour, even if it was just for 2 hours. Um, I would make a little chunk of progress through it every day, and made so much more progress since about the winter semester break, or winter break rather, and I just found that I feel so much more productive throughout the day, which is ironic, right? Because in the start, I was really productive because I was getting more tasks done. Like, objectively, I was more productive because I was getting more stuff done, right? But subjectively, I just felt more productive and more accomplished because I was getting more stuff done now. And it feels so much better, I think, to start with the day, just starting that big task and getting it over with, sort of in a way. And I found that this strategy has helped me really just lock in on what's actually important and leave the rest for another day. Okay, so I want to tell you some of the things that helped me implement this into my day and help me stay consistent across these 30 days. And yes, while it is sometimes difficult to get up and do a task that's really hard and mentally challenging, it has been so rewarding to do it every day. And so I'm hoping that some of these ideas I give you that have helped me will help you guys achieve this a lot easier. By the way, if you found any of this valuable and want more help, then click on the first link in the description. It's a link to my program on Zen Pre-Med Study System. Basically, everything I espouse in my YouTube videos, but more compact and compressed for you. And I hope that that will help you achieve your goals a lot faster while not being as stressed and getting to enjoy your life in college. So check that out again, first link in the description. No pressure to sign up, but let's get back to the rest of the video. Okay, so the first thing I do is Google Calendar. And what I mean by Google Calendar is that I need to have my task blocked throughout the day. And so I cannot start my day just by like going willy nilly and just like finding a different task to do based on what's in my head. I need to have it mapped out in my Google Calendar so that I know, hey, this is what I need to be doing at this time. This is what I need to be doing at that time. And so I have the reassurance that all my work will get done as long as I just follow my timetable. So what does that mean? So I have now, instead of just sort of kind of putting like a work block or something like that, I would put in for like the first 2, 3 hours a day, I'd be work on research, and it would just be like a big chunk of time. And during that time, I would make sure nothing else was in the way. And so, yeah, sometimes you'll have morning classes. Like I have a morning class this semester that has kind of interfered with that. But instead, what I do is just after the morning class, I'll go either run over to my lab so I can do the research there, or I'll sit in a library afterwards and work on my thesis. And so, either way, you just want to have like a big block of uninterrupted time where you're able to work on your thesis or work on your big project that's spanning over an entire semester, or really any other goal that's important to you. It doesn't have to be school related. I just find that this can be easy to look at in terms of school context. And so that's how I wanted to talk about it today. Okay, so you mapped it on your Google Calendar. Then the next thing is that I always recommend to do this work early in the morning rather than late at night. And I know a lot of people might say that they're morning larks or evening owls or whatever it's called, night owls. And I just found that this, while it may be true based on like your sleep chronotype and stuff, it's really just not a helpful way to think about it because unfortunately our world runs on a system where you have to be awake in the early in the morning and then you're sleeping later at night, right? And so what does that mean? That means that you find out about like social events, like parties, just opportunities to hang out with friends, and a lot of opportunities for distraction mostly later on in the evening. And the whole point of this channel is that I don't want you guys to feel pressured that you have to miss out on these events to study. And so I recommend, instead of doing this work late in the evening, that you block out some time early in the day, whether that be in the morning. If you have all morning classes, maybe do it in the afternoon, early afternoon. But just finding time throughout the day to really sit down and do that work when there's less distraction will help you achieve so much better results, I think. Okay, so you schedule your work in the morning, and what I found now is that I have started to do a morning routine, and I've been doing this for about 3, 4 months now, and the benefits have just been like skyrocketing. Like it's unbelievable how much results I'm getting just by sitting down and getting my morning right instead of just like sort of sitting down haphazardly and doing my work. So my morning routine consists of just waking up. I like to read in the morning. That helps me get awake, and by reading, I'm able to really like stimulate my brain, get into that sort of workspace where I feel like I can do deep, meaningful work instead of being all distracted all around. So like the last thing I'd recommend is going on your phone and scrolling. I have deleted like all social media from my phone, so I'm able to just go on my phone and read. But if you have to read like a physical book or um, something else that would make you less distracted, then do that for sure. But really, it just helps me get up in the morning, so that's what I choose to do. Then what has also helped me was, going and taking a shower in the morning, and doing a cold shower was really helpful because it sort of like shocks you into wakefulness, and it also makes you feel a little accomplished. In the same way that eating the frog is uncomfortable in the morning, doing a cold shower is also really uncomfortable in the morning. So it's really helped me like get into that mindset like I got to sit down and be disciplined and do this work because that's who I am. I'm the person who takes cold showers, and I'm the person who sits down and just does the work when I have to. Okay, so then I finish with my cold shower, and then I sit down and I meditate first, and I do my gratitude journaling. And this has been really helpful because it sort of put me in that headspace where I'm able to block out all the sort of junk that's in my brain from the previous day or from the night or even from a little bit in the morning, and get into a headspace where I'm just able to clear my mind of everything except what I need to focus on, which is the work, right? So I found the meditation has been really helpful, and it's really gotten me to a point where I'm able to sit down and do that work early in the morning without feeling as much um, strain or friction on it. And gratitude journaling just helps me keep happy and grateful for the stuff that's around me. And I just find it puts me in a good headspace to be positive in the morning, because being positive has helped me way more in just realizing like, hey, I can do this work and I can get this project done instead of sitting and kind of wallowing in my pessimism like I used to in the past. Okay, so you finish your morning routine and then you sit down and you actually have to start doing the work. And I'm not going to pretend like this is easy, because the whole point of deep work is that it's mentally and cognitively straining. And all the tips I gave you earlier are going to help you sort of get into that mode. But at the end of the day, you just kind of have to sit down and get started on the work. And one thing I've really found that helps is, again, I'm sure you've heard of it. It's called like the 5 minute technique or something similar to that, where you just kind of start on the work and you don't necessarily force yourself to sit down for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours at a time. You kind of just say, hey, if I get one line written, then I've been successful. And I think 95% of the time, maybe even 99% of the time, you'll sit down and you'll find that you just do the work because you kind of want to continue. So I started with this technique. I've just like sat down and been like, I have to do this work now. And I'm just going to do a little bit. And if it's really bad and I really don't want to do it, then I'll stop myself. But end of the day, like I just end up wanting to do more. And once I get into like actually breaking through that first step to action, then I have the motivation to keep continuing. Like that saying goes, motivation follows action, not action follows motivation. One other bonus tip I'd recommend is something that's helped me when, especially for these eating the frog tasks or like these deep work blocks that you have to do at the beginning of the day. I choose not to use Pomodoro technique or any technique where I have to get up and sort of take breaks in between, because the whole thing is that I feel so mentally focused. Like my willpower is at its highest, my mental focus is at its highest, my attention is at its highest, and the distractions are at the lowest usually, right? So I'll wake up and I want to just sit down and chug out as much work as possible. Now, if using the previous technique, I'm just like, I can't do this work. I just need to sit and think to myself, like, maybe I have a really bad headache or I'm just really sleepy, then fine, like, I won't continue. But if I need to do the work and I want to keep it as deep as possible, I focus more on just sitting down and doing the work for a continuous block of time until I like literally have to get up to pee, or I have to get up to um I don't know, for some emergency, I guess. But the whole point is that I just don't think that doing these Pomodoro techniques or sitting down and having these like little timers or other things that sort of distract you while it may be beneficial to have a break, end of the day, like I'd rather just carry that momentum into doing more work than taking a Pomodoro break and realizing that, oh, I was going to do the work, but now I found some other distraction and now I don't want to do the work. So that's a technique that's really helped me out when I've been eating the frog. So I hope it helps you out as well. Okay, so you've seen now that eating the frog for me has been super helpful, and I hope that some of this was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions on how to implement any of this, then again, please leave a comment down in the description. I'll try to respond to them if I have anything to say about it. And again, check out that first link in the description if you're interested in the program, if you want to get this type of advice um, and really implement it in your life as quick as possible. Just check out that first link in the description. If not, I'll keep on making more videos, more valuable content for you guys, and I hope to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.